It's been obvious for a long time that the SEC is biased against Ripple, and now this will finally be settled in case. What is about to happen? And what chances has the SEC left? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. But first, we are giving away 25 XRP coins at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. Welcome back XRP Army. If recently discovered records can be used to demonstrate that a former official of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission had a conflict of interest, this could present the United States Securities and Exchange Commission with a significant challenge in its case against Ripple. Ripple is a digital currency that allows users to send and receive payments. Ripple, a company that uses blockchain technology, and the Securities and Exchange Commission have been engaged in a contentious court battle since the year 2020. In this particular instance, the SEC accuses Ripple, along with top executives Brad Garlinghouse and Christian Larson, of promoting unregistered securities in the form of Ripple XRP coins. Wednesday was the day when the corruption watchdog Empower Oversight made public their claim, which said that information obtained through a Freedom of Information request indicated that the former head of corporate finance at the SEC, William Hinman, had a conflict of interest. It was not wise for him to provide a lecture in 2018 in which he asserted that Ether, ETH, and the transactions that use it are not considered to be securities. This is something that he should not have done. According to the charity watchdog, Hinman ought to have recused himself from speaking on Ether because he had a direct financial interest with the law firm Simpson Thacker & Bartlett, which is a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. In other words, Hinman should have avoided speaking on Ether because of this direct financial interest. Did you know about this scandal? Let us know in the comment section down below. Attorney John Deaton makes reference to a group called Empower Oversight, which is a watchdog organization that investigates allegations of corruption. These documents pertain to William Hinman, who formerly worked as the Director of Corporate Finance for the SEC. In a speech that Hinman delivered in 2018, he declared that Ethereum is not a security, which is at issue in these records. Deaton cites these documents as supporting evidence. According to Empower Oversight, newly uncovered emails indicate that Hinman was aware of a potential conflict of interest when preparing the speech and knew it before delivering it. Moreover, the emails indicate that Hinman was aware of the potential conflict of interest before delivering the speech. According to Deaton, this would mean that the SEC action against Ripple, which the SEC launched in December of 2020 under the claims that XRP was issued as an unregistered security, would come to an end. This action was initiated by the SEC on the grounds that XRP was issued as an unregistered security. The argument presented in the case is that XRP was distributed in an unregistered capacity as a security. If Hinman didn't submit the speech to conflict screening, it is game, set, and match. The ethics office is going to be pissed and want to throw him under the bus if we force this investigation through letters from Congress. According to a statement that was released by Empower Oversight, Hinman was linked with Simpson Thacker, a law firm that backed Ethereum at the same time that the speech was being delivered. Hinman returned to work for the legal firm shortly after the initial complaint was filed, and he has since continued to do so. According to the group, the ethics office of the SEC issued a warning to Hinman, telling him that he needed to separate himself from the matter in order to protect his reputation. Our FOIA request shows that the SEC ethics office cautioned Mr. Hinman that he had a direct financial interest in his former law firm, Simpson Thacker, and thus, he needed to recuse himself from any matters that would affect the firm. And, lest he may have misunderstood its position, the ethics office explicitly told him not to have any contact with Simpson Thacker personnel. Comment, XRP Army, if you believe the SEC will be punished. Empower Oversight claims that Hinman did not reveal his ties to the legal firm and that his comments contributed to the spike in the price of Ethereum at the time of the speech. This claim is based on the fact that Empower Oversight claims Hinman did not disclose his ties to the law firm. These assertions were made in a statement issued by Empower Oversight. The records disclosed to Empower Oversight and other information tend to show that Mr. Hinman failed to disclose Simpson Thacker's, and by extension his, direct financial interest in the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. In his speech, he opined that Ether is not a security, stating that, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network and its decentralized structure, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. Ether's value rose immediately after Mr. Hinman's speech. Do you agree that the SEC should be ridiculed? If yes, then make sure to like this video. What does this imply for the price of XRP in the foreseeable future? The price of XRP has recovered from the losses it incurred during the retreat that took place on May 11, when the payment giant was getting ready for its court appearance with the SEC on May 13, 2022. Supporters of XRP have obtained and distributed William Hinman's emails, which the Securities and Exchange Commission had intended to keep secret. Earlier in the week, XRP was one of the cryptocurrencies that was severely impacted by the slaughter that occurred on the cryptocurrency market. This event also had an effect on Bitcoin and a few other cryptocurrencies. Before making a full recovery shortly before the day that payment giant Ripple is supposed to have its day in court with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the price of XRP dropped by 19% of its gains on Wednesday. Kevin Cage, a trader and cryptocurrency analyst, examined the XRP price trend and determined a bullish target price of 86 cents for the altcoin's price. He then made bullish targets of $1.32 and $1.70 respectively for the price of the cryptocurrency. Cage drew parallels between the current trend and one that existed in March 2020 and in December 2020, respectively, when the price dropped to 11 cents and 17 cents and then skyrocketed by a factor of 1,000. He did this by comparing the current trend to the one that existed in March 2020 and in December 2020. The price of XRP will need to avoid the pivot around $0.5131 in order for it to be able to hit the first major resistance level at $0.5529. XRP would need support from the whole cryptocurrency market in order to move past the morning's high of $0.5343 and move closer to the next major price level. XRP should proceed to test the second major resistance level located at $0.6179 in the event that the present upswing continues for a significant amount of time. This level is located in the United States dollar. The level of major resistance 3 is reached when the price reaches $0.7222. In the event if the price moved lower than the pivot point, the first major support level, which is currently positioned around $0.4481, would become important. Unless there is another extended sell-off throughout the day, 40 cents should be a ceiling for XRP's price, and it should be able to avoid dropping lower than that. The price of $0.4087, which acts as the second major support level, should help to cap any further losses. The exponential moving averages and the candlestick chart that depicts the 4-hourly time frame both provide a negative indicator of the market's direction. At the time of this writing, the price of XRP is sitting at $0.5808, which places it much lower than the 50-day moving average. This morning, the exponential moving average for the 50-day time period moved further away from the EMA for the 100-day time period. In addition, the 100-day exponential moving average has separated itself from the 200-day moving average, which is a sign that XRP is headed in a negative direction. A move that provides support for a move back to 60 cents would be a breach of the 50-day exponential moving average. What do you think about the SEC future? Can it recover from that? Let us know in the comment section. If you want to continue to know about XRP, we have got 2 videos waiting for you on the end screen to check out. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.